Hello, friends. Something I want to talk about today is having a part time job. I mean, when you're starting your detailing business, sometimes you have to make that tough choice, especially in a situation like me. I did not have a job at the time I fell into detailing. And when I fell in love with detailing, I knew I had to figure out a way to make it work because you can't just be in business cash flowing constantly. You know what I mean? You have to take time to build. You're going to run into a lot of struggles. I know I have. So, me, I work two part time jobs, so to speak. My first one is here. I work at a hotel, and it's just 2 8-hour shifts over the weekend. Overnight, I make $14 an hour, but let me tell you what that does for me. Now, I live a very simple life. I have a lot of low bills, and I do not have a lot of responsibilities anymore. Having a part time job has actually taken a lot of weight off of my shoulders. I've been able to take the money from this job and apply it to my bigger things like the lot rent, the house and car insurance, and the car payment. Okay. So then I have another part time gig, and that is Uber Eats and DoorDash. And that actually takes care of things like utilities and things like that. So that is how you can, look at what your bills are and just find a way to make that income, that part time income, go where it needs to go. Now, so what are some of the challenges of having your own detailing business? And these are things that I have faced. You have low customer volume in the beginning. You have to build a clientele, and it takes a little while, but stick with it. I think we'll all get there. The other is less income. With less income, that's where those part time jobs come in handy. They pick up the slack. You know what I mean? The other is, and it's a challenge, but you have to learn new detailing skills. It's not something that you just learn overnight. And then the other one is marketing your business. That has been a big challenge, finding ways to market. Social media is not the answer to all and end all. It is just not. So sometimes you just have to get out there and find different ways to make it work. Okay, so let's talk about the pros and cons of having a part-time job while you're building your business. I think it's worth talking about, and I don't want people to think this is something that you have to do, but if you're struggling to get those bills paid for your family, maybe you're struggling to find money to get groceries paid for, you may have to go down these roads. So let's talk about that. The first pro is it will aid in this lower income. So it will bring your income up. Say you're not detailing all week because there's been nothing but rain. That's what we dealt with here. So it will aid your lower income and help bring it up. The other is it gives you the ability to worry less about money. That is something that, when we're first starting out, sometimes we need to keep those prices a little lower in detailing, and that can affect how much you bring in per month until you work your way up. And this is really for those who are just starting, just like I did. Sometimes you just have to give your skills time to get up there. The other is your part-time job can pay your bigger bills. For example, me, a car payment and lot rent. If your 2 days a week working at a part-time job can cover those, yet that's less you have to bother with. Just take that income and direct it where you want it to go, so it'll take the weight off of you. And the biggest pro is it's only temporary. Having a part-time job is only going to be for a little while. Some may say a year, some say 2 years, but I'm just going to wait and see how things play out. So, what are some of the cons of having a part-time job? Well, I have less time to schedule my details. And sometimes that can be a challenge because the customers may not be able to do it on the days that I'm available. But sometimes that's just a risk you have to take. The other is it gives you less time to learn if you're still learning the business, the trade, the skill. You know what I mean? And it also gives you less time to market, but it might give you a little bit more money to use to market. So you never know. There's ways you can just turn your negatives into positives. So my other part-time gig, and I'll just kind of talk about it briefly, but there are some pros and cons to that, which I won't get into, but it's not going to be any different than your detailing business. And that is Uber Eats or DoorDash. When it's raining and I can't detail, I go out for 2 or 3 hours. But the negatives there is you're an independent contractor, so you are responsible for your taxes. And you got to keep track of your mileage and things like that. Your gas, that's all part of your business expense. So it's no different than your detailing business. So I just wanted to kind of talk about it. I don't want anybody to thumb their nose up at it. It is what it is. Sometimes we just have to make those tough choices and find a way to get through the tough times. This is also, when you talk about DoorDash and Uber, that's something you can do in the winter months when you're not going to be detailing much. Give it some thought. You never know. Might work out. So, that's my discussion, my pros and cons, my benefits and my challenges of having a detailing business and working part-time jobs. It is what it is. You do what you got to do. I told myself after my divorce way back in the day that I didn't want to depend on anybody again, ever. Now, granted, I have had to depend on my parents a little bit, and I'm going to be very honest about that in the last 10 months. But all I can do is say thank you to them and do my best to keep doing better for the next month so that maybe I can find a way to keep them from having to rescue me next month. You know what I mean? So I hope that helps. Gives you a little bit of education from my end on what I have dealt with. And if you are dealing with it, maybe it'll help you see some things in a different light. If not, it's okay. But I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thanks for hanging out on my channel for a minute, guys. I sure appreciate it. Until the next one, we'll see you later.